All right, I'm getting this all out today, but I figured I'd break it up. Okay, so I'm really convinced and concerned that there's an affair going on, that's been going on for a while now, because of the messages that I found between this woman and my husband, who I knew had a crush on him, who is now suddenly saying is like his mother. Just very weird. So of course, okay, this is what happens. Her son dies. He's suddenly needing to spend as much time as possible with her. And him and I are not getting along. I had been in a sad state for quite a while. Had been feeling quite neglected by him. And I have videos of me begging for change, telling him I felt ignored, because I did. And we'll get to all that, but at some point I will definitely be showing that. But it had been hard for me for quite a while, and he was not being nice to me. And he had many nights where he wouldn't be home until midnight. And of course, I thought he was working. Of course, now that I look back, like how much in denial was I? Like, it's not too often that someone who works the way he works and comes home at midnight. That just doesn't. It can happen. It can if you're on a certain job, and but not the way it was happening. Okay, so then Mike dies and all that, and he ends up needing to borrow some money from her to fix the truck. It was $900 he borrowed from her. Oh wait, I gotta go back. I'm sorry. Forgot about something. I wish I could remember when this was. I could probably try to figure out about when it happened, but it was shortly after Mike had died, some point after Mike had died. And I knew he was at her house, and so was her daughter. Her daughter was there as well. They were going through Mike's things. And Brian was there for at least a couple hours. Honestly, I don't know how long. It may have been more than that. But I know it was a good amount of time that he was there with both of them. The mother and the daughter, okay? Now, she lives an hour away from us. It takes an hour to drive from our house to her house. And of course, it takes an hour to drive from her house to our house. Okay? That night that Brian had spent at least a couple hours with her and her daughter, he came home and walked through our door with a heart on, which I found very odd, as he had never done that, ever. And the whole time we've ever been together, he's never done that. Never. Immediately, I'm thinking he was just with two other women for quite a while. Had to be one of them who got him excited. Clearly wasn't me, because he was excited before he saw me. And I wasn't getting him excited very often at that point anyway. So I knew it wasn't about me. Also, it was late when he got home, so it was dark out. So highly unlikely it was anyone he'd seen on the street running or anything. He had just spent hours with two other women and walked through our door with a heart on, and literally, without saying a word, led me to the bedroom and used me to satisfy himself. I, of course, asked him, what, did her daughter get you excited or something? What was that about, Brian? That was very odd. And he, of course, no, I've got no interest in her. She does nothing for me. Okay. Now, fast forward a couple months, and again, he's coming home 11:30 at night. He's not being nice to me. We're arguing. I knew he had been at Ray's house. I literally asked him, what are you doing? Cleaning out Ray's pipes for that money she's letting you borrow? I asked him that question. Then he went to the bathroom, and I can hear his phone dinging. Like someone's messaging him. It's almost midnight. So I asked him, who's messaging you this late at night, Brian? Who? He takes a second. Dave. Angrily says it's Dave. So something just clicked in my mind, and I said, well, why don't you just look at the phone bill, Marissa, because the phone bill is real time. You can see exactly who is texting him right now. And I did. And I see one number, and this number is immediately, I see it's a prominent number. Prominent, dominant. And I ask him, who's this number? And I read out the number. And he's not answering me right away. I'm like, who is this number? Hold on, I'm finding out. But he knew who it was. Then Ray. And then I said to him, Brian, you realize I can see every time that you text each other and every time you call each other and how long your conversations are. Did you know that? And he immediately reacted with, I could hear like nerves in his voice, like defense. I don't know. I'm not going to take this. And then anger. And then he storms off to bed. Now, I'm, of course, looking at the phone bill and going, what the hell is going on here? Why has my husband got to spend 71 minutes on the phone with Ray at a time? Why are they constantly texting from day to night? Why do they have to be in contact so often? He's there so much. He's literally there, and they're still, like, when they're not together, they're constantly contacting each other. What for? What have I found here? The next day, I messaged her. And I, as nicely as I could, asked her the question. You know, I said, I realize you guys have a special relationship. I want to know how special it is. How special is it, Ray? Because I'm confused right now. I'm a little confused right now, and I'm very curious how you're going to respond. I don't remember a thing I said. You know, probably didn't say that part, but I was very curious. And she did not respond the way I was truly hoping she would, but pretty much the way I thought she would, which was, you know, complimenting Brian, you know, saying how great of a guy he was and how lucky she was that he was in her life. And then she said something about our children. And I think she said he's like a son to me. Okay. And then I responded and I said, well, I just got to tell you, Ray, that, what did I say? You know, I think he was being really, really mean to me. Like he was threatening me. He was threatening me and just acting really weird. And, you know, and basically I was not accepting her odd response. First of all, why aren't you asking me why I'm asking you this question? Shouldn't you be wondering why I'm even thinking that? But you have no curiosity as to what is causing me to even ask you this question. Okay. And oddly, you didn't really have any denial either. You didn't really make me feel like sure of anything. Like you just didn't deny anything. You didn't say absolutely not. No, that is absolutely wrong. I can assure you that is not happening. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. In fact, it seemed very like, it just was an odd response to me, you know? And she did respond again, one line, like, like trust is very important in a relationship, something like that. And then that would be the end of it. That was her, that was as much as she was willing to give me. And here's what's really bad about this. Okay. Once that happens, and I realize now she's ignoring me, and always has ignored me, actually, since day one. Always has. It's nothing new. But now it's really bad because I'm believing they're having an affair. So we've got problems now. You know, Brian, he also acts very strangely. Very strangely. I, for whatever reason, didn't force them to stop their contact right away. It went on for a little while, and it allowed me time while he was asleep to grab his phone and take a picture of every single text message that he never deleted between them. And I'm very glad I got that, because it gave me more than enough confirmation of what I thought. It gave me confirmation that I was exactly right. And what made it even worse was this. I was, not doing well. Just completely in disbelief that what I thought I had was actually nothing that I had. I was living a life that I didn't even know I was living. Like, I didn't know. And I really feel like I was in denial, But whatever. I was really going through it. Not having a good time. And I messaged Brian at this point, and it had been, let's see, I found out April 3rd. I want to say, I can't remember. I'm going to have to look it up. But it wasn't too long after that I messaged him and said, yeah, I can't, I'm no longer comfortable with you going there. I don't want you there anymore, Brian. If she can't even speak to me, then no. Then I'm not okay with my husband doing anything for her or being with her. Nothing. No. That's gonna end now. I'm no longer okay with it. Okay. He did not respond to that. But I remember I'm in the bathroom, and his phone rings. I think this was like the next day or something after I messaged that to him. Maybe it was the same day. I don't know. But it was very close. He answers the phone, looks right at me, and says, okay, yes, Ray, I'll be there. So what he was doing in that moment was telling me, sorry, Marissa, how you feel, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to go there. I'm not going to say no to Ray. I'm going to say yes to Ray. And you're getting no. My heart sank. My fucking heart sank. The morning that he was planning on going there, I had to say, Brian, no, Brian, I told you in a message, you chose to, now I'm having to say it out loud. You're not allowed to go there anymore. Not anymore. Not knowing what I know now. Not with everything that I've seen go between you. No. Nope, there's something very, very rotten and stinky about it. And I'm saying it can't happen anymore. He got really angry. He had like a little tantrum. You know, like why was I being such a pain in the ass and not letting him go there? Because she was asking for her yard to be raked. She needed her yard raked. You know, it wasn't... He was excusing her silence to me. You know, it wasn't like, well, of course I won't go there, Marissa, if you're not comfortable with that. Of course I won't do that. No. It wasn't, well, what will make you comfortable with it, Marissa? No, it wasn't that. It was just, Jesus Christ, Marissa. You know, how can you be jealous over that? My buddy's mother. Well, first of all, you're breaking your vow to put me and my wants and my needs above everyone else's. You're putting her before me. You're saying to her and me that her wishes and wants are going to be tended to, and mine will not. And that's breaking your marriage vow to me. So right there, that's a big problem. If you're willing to break your vow to me so that you can go say yes to this old woman who's refusing to talk to me and has never been nice to me. There's something wrong. There's something extremely wrong with that. Because you never do that to your wife. No. No. Your wife's well-being, your wife's feelings, what her concerns are, that's your priority. That's what you vowed to be concerned with over anything else. And suddenly you're just outwardly breaking your vow to my face, and you think I'm going to be fine with it? Okay. Then I'm forbidding their contact. I've blocked them from each other. Okay. I checked his emails. I thought maybe they had emailed each other. So I asked him, did you email her? Immediately, this is what he says. No, I never emailed her. I swear on my mother's grave. I swear on my mother's grave, I did not email her, Marissa. And he was like, he almost seemed proud that he could answer a question truthfully. And I did believe him because he automatically sweared on his mother's grave about it. Funnily, he wasn't swearing on his mother's grave that he had no affair. So once he had automatically sworn about that email, I tried to remind him a couple times, Brian, you haven't sworn to me that you had no affair with Ray. And he'd say, oh, I haven't? No, nope. And I think you haven't. You haven't. Oh, I thought I did maybe to your mother. Why would you have done that? Why would you have sworn to my mother? But nope, you didn't do that. Oh, okay. And still not swear. So now, he was refusing to swear that he was innocent and had no affair with Ray. He just was refusing to do that. He could swear that he didn't send her an email, but he couldn't swear that he never fucked her. Well, I mean, what more do you need, people? What more do you fucking need? And that was what really put me in hell. And I couldn't even eat. I don't even know how many days I could not eat. And seeing me like that, in utter turmoil, just every moment in torment, seeing me like that day after day, it did nothing to make him want to swear to me. No, he was fine watching me die every day, so that he didn't have to swear. For some reason, he didn't feel like he had to swear. And he wasn't gonna. Well, finally, I don't know, weeks go by. And I'm on the bathroom floor in tears. Can't stop crying. I'm just crying. Can't stop crying. He opens the bathroom door and angrily, with an angry look on his face and an angry tone in his voice, says, I swear on my mother's grave, and I'm not going to do it again. And then walks out, closes the door, leaves me on the floor crying my guts out. No attempt to comfort me. No. And of course, it did not escape me that the way he swore, he didn't even say what he was swearing about. He said, I swear on my mother's grave, but he did not say what it was that he was swearing about. And then he said he wouldn't do it again. I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to do it again. Seems to me an innocent person, if they're accused of something they didn't do, can easily, with no issues, swear on anyone's grave 1,000,000 times if need be. If they're truly innocent, they should have no problem doing that. So why? Why, might you ask? Why did Brian have such a hard time doing that? And why was he not willing to do it more than one half-assed time? Well, I'll tell you what he gave me for an answer. He hadn't done anything, and therefore he had no reason to swear. He hadn't done anything, therefore he had nothing to swear about and no reason to swear. Now, sadly for Brian, he just can't. He's got it backwards, and he can't change. He can't change the reality of things, because the reality is, if someone is accused of something they did not do, and they want their innocence to be known, the first thing they do is swear. They don't say, well, I'm innocent, so I don't have to swear that I'm innocent. That's not how it works, honey. And by the way, you never sent her an email either, but you could swear about that. What was the difference there? In both scenarios, you supposedly hadn't done anything, but for this tiny scenario, you had no problem swearing twice automatically, and for the huge one, you went weeks till I was starving to death and couldn't stop crying, and even then, you couldn't do it right, and were like so rude about it. Showed no compassion for me and the state that I was in. None. Just anger that he had to fucking give in and swear because I wouldn't stop crying. And then, of course, was the telling everyone how delusional I was. The only problem with that, Brian, is I actually have your messages. I actually have them. So what exactly am I delusional about? What am I delusional about? I can never look at Brian the same way again. Ever since I found out what I found out about Ray, I haven't been able to see him the same way. And I don't think that will ever change. Never. You know, I knew that he couldn't be trusted, but somehow I took the leap of faith and thought, I can trust in his fidelity to me. I can trust in his faithfulness. He vowed. I convinced myself of something that just wasn't the case. You know, I wanted it so badly. I wanted him to be capable of that, you know, for me and our children. But he just wasn't. He just wasn't. I mean, how long did it take for him to be having an affair once he was free to leave whenever he wanted? Not very long. Not very long. I mean, He was on the road by the end of 2019, okay? By March of 2021, they're obviously serious. So, a year or less? Maybe a year? I don't know. I don't think it took a year. I don't. And I don't think it took a lot of effort for her to convince him to cheat and completely, break his word to me. Ugh. And just be, a scumbag, really. It didn't take long. And all through it, he was shitting on me. I mean, I remember one time I came home from work and told him, I hear from strangers at the store that I'm more beautiful. I hear that I'm beautiful from strangers at the store more than I hear it from you. And he got angry at me for saying that. Just lashed out in anger. I can't remember what he said, but he was like, how could you say that to me, No, really? Wow, let me remedy that, Marissa. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Of course you're beautiful. I love you. No. Absolutely no. None of that. Just anger at how dare I say something like that. And all along, he was fucking behind my back saying he was only with me for our kids. He said even his mother never liked me. Yeah. I think what he did was he insulted me and put me down a lot so that Ray could feel secure. That even though he was coming home to me every day, it wasn't because he liked me or wanted me. Yeah. So it just like we've seen in the past, he did that with, Maureen. He did the same thing. He lied and trashed me. He lied about me, trashed me to her too. And he was doing the same thing now with this woman. Same thing. And of course, allowing her to trash me too. And just the fact that he couldn't swear. He couldn't swear, and she wouldn't deny anything, and acted as though, even though she knew I was telling her, you can't have contact with my husband anymore. It's over. Okay, it's over now. Stop. You're no longer allowed. That meant nothing to her. She believed that nothing I said meant anything. She didn't have to heed anything I said. No, she believed that her and Brian's relationship was much more important to him than me or anything I said. So, of course, once I told her stop, she didn't stop. I could see her still trying to text him and call him even after I blocked her. So I had to tell her, honey, you're blocked. I've told you to stop. He's not getting your shit. Stop. So what did she do? She reached out to his friends. Any of his friends that she knew, she would try to get him messages through them. And then as, months had gone by, and just for the fuck of it, I texted her and I pretended to be Brian. I even sent a picture of Brian and said, it's me. It's Brian. Got this new number. And she said, I've been trying to get your new number. Months and months later, she was still trying to get his new number. So nothing I thought or said or, wanted had any bearing on her actions. Not at all. Why would they? I mean, she truly believed that Brian had nothing for me except for our children. He told her that, and he convinced her pretty well. That he had nothing for me. Nothing. And that's probably closer to the truth than anything. Because let's face it, if he really loved me, he wouldn't have treated me that way. He wouldn't have. He wouldn't have betrayed me and then and trashed me behind my back and then came home and shit on me even more. He even fucking stole my fucking pills. They were like Valiums. And every month, I wish I was so stupid not to move them. But every month I'm like, there's no way I took this many. Why am I short? Am I really taking more than I realize? No way. But I didn't realize it. Then I find months and months and months later, his messages to her, I've got more of those blue pills for you. And he had to admit, because of those messages, he had to admit that they were mine, that he was giving to her. And I said, but Brian, so you were stealing, because there's absolutely no way I would ever give those up. There's no way I would ever say yes to giving those away. And he said, you were in a blackout. I was in a blackout. What? When you asked me if you could have my pills every month I was in a blackout when you asked if you could have some of my pills for Ray, and I said yes, because it was month after month after month. That was just bullshit. No, I wasn't in no blackout. I was never in a blackout. And I certainly was never in a blackout when he asked if I would give any of my pills away to Ray. He never asked that. He asked me one time for Mike for 2 of them. And I asked him every month when I was getting them back. And every month he had an excuse of why I wasn't getting 2 of them back. And then, of course, every month I noticed that I was short. I'm telling you, he was stealing my fucking pills for that old woman month after month after month. Is that what a loyal husband does? Steals his wife's medication for another woman. Not just another woman who has a crush on him, who is not nice to his wife at all. In fact, who doesn't even speak to his wife as if she doesn't exist. Is that how a loyal husband acts? And then his friends, in the face of all of this, in the face of it all, I mean, I showed them the messages. This is very long, so I'm going to save it for next time, but then comes the friends and their bullshit. So, on top of being devastated by my husband and just treated so badly and so wrongly and just in pure hell and so fucking hurt. The people that I thought cared about him and then in turn cared about me were the ones that I should reach out to. Somehow I made that connection that if they really care about Brian, then they care about his family and me, and they're gonna help us. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna help make this right. They're gonna be the voice of reason here. They're gonna be the voice of reason. That they're gonna be our lifesavers, because right now I'm drowning, right? Somehow I thought that, but I was so wrong, man. Was I wrong on that one? I know a lot of you are gonna say, of course, if they're his friends, you know, but you know, I don't know. I just expected more from these people that are supposed to be such upstanding people, you know, and not just his friends, but his family. You know, it was just another hard lesson that I had to learn immediately after, you know, learning all that. But all right, I'm gonna go. Oh shit! Okay, I'm gonna go.